Dawn breaks over the Monongahela River in the year 1900, and the first thing you notice is not the light, but the smoke. It hangs thick and heavy in the air, a gray-brown ceiling that presses down on the city of Pittsburgh like a permanent storm cloud. The sun struggles to pierce it, turning morning into a dim amber haze. Below, the rivers churn and collide, carrying barges stacked with coal, iron, and steel. Whistles scream from factories waking for another shift, and the city stirs with the sound of boots on cobblestone streets. This is Pittsburgh at the dawn of the 20th century, a city built of fire, muscle, and relentless motion. A place where the future of industrial America is being forged day and night. At the turn of the century, Pittsburgh is not yet known for bridges or universities or green hillsides. It is known as the Steel City, and the name is not metaphorical. Steel defines everything here, from the skyline to the rhythm of daily life. Immense mills line the rivers, their furnaces glowing like open mouths of the earth. Sparks fly into the night sky, and the constant clanging of metal is as familiar as breathing. Men, women, and even children live according to the factory clock. Shifts begin before sunrise and end long after dark. The work is dangerous, exhausting, and often deadly, but it is steady, and in 1900, steady work is a promise few cities can make. Immigrants arrive in waves, stepping off trains with little more than hope and a suitcase. They come from Eastern and Southern Europe, from Ireland, Italy, Poland, and beyond, drawn by the promise of wages that might lift their families out of poverty. Neighborhoods form around shared languages and traditions. Churches, social halls, and corner stores become lifelines in an unfamiliar land. Life is crowded, loud, and hard, but it is also communal. People know their neighbors, if only because they live inches apart in narrow row houses and boarding homes shadowed by smokestacks. Transportation in 1900 Pittsburgh reflects both innovation and limitation. Horse-drawn wagons still dominate many streets, their wheels carving ruts into the mud. Electric streetcars glide along fixed routes, offering a glimpse of modern convenience, but they are slow and packed tight. The rivers remain the city's true highways, moving raw materials in and finished steel out to the rest of the nation. Railroads stitch Pittsburgh into the growing American economy, but travel is still a physical ordeal, measured in hours and days rather than minutes. Housing is functional, not comfortable. Most workers live close to the mills, not by choice but necessity. Air quality is poor, and soot settles on windowsills, laundry lines, and lungs alike. The idea of environmental health is barely a whisper. Smoke is seen as proof of prosperity, and clear skies are sometimes viewed with suspicion, a sign that the mills may have slowed. Nature is something to be conquered or ignored, not preserved. Yet even in 1900, Pittsburgh is a city of ambition and ideas. Industrialists like Andrew Carnegie and Henry Clay Frick wield enormous power, shaping not only the economy but the physical and cultural landscape. Carnegie, in particular, begins to imagine a legacy beyond steel. Libraries, universities, and cultural institutions take root, planted by wealth earned in the mills. The city is harsh, but it is also laying the groundwork for something more enduring than smoke. As the decades roll forward, Pittsburgh transforms again and again, riding the booms and busts of American industry. By mid-century, the city stands as a symbol of industrial might, but also of environmental and social cost. Rivers catch fire from pollution. The sky remains dark at noon. Then, slowly, painfully, the steel industry begins to collapse. Mills close. Jobs vanish. Neighborhoods hollow out. For many residents, the late 20th century feels like an ending rather than a transition. Now shift the lens to Pittsburgh in 2026, and the contrast is startling. The camera rises above the same rivers, but the smoke is gone. The water reflects blue sky and glass towers instead of firelight. Green hills frame the city, and bridges arc gracefully across the valleys, earning Pittsburgh a new reputation as a place of unexpected beauty. The soundscape has changed too. The roar of furnaces has been replaced by traffic hum, conversation, and the quiet buzz of technology. Modern Pittsburgh is no longer defined by a single industry. Steel has given way to healthcare, education, robotics, artificial intelligence, and advanced manufacturing. Universities like Carnegie Mellon and the University of Pittsburgh draw students and researchers from around the world. Former factory buildings have been repurposed into tech hubs, apartments, and art spaces. Where molten metal once flowed, data now moves at the speed of light. everyday life in 2026 feels fundamentally different. Work is less physically brutal, though not necessarily less demanding. Many residents spend their days in offices, labs, hospitals, or remote workspaces connected by high-speed internet. The factory whistle no longer dictates the city's schedule. Flexibility, once unimaginable, has become normal for many professions. The dangers have shifted from crushed limbs and burns to stress, burnout, and economic uncertainty in a rapidly changing global market. Transportation has been reshaped by convenience and choice. Cars dominate the roads, but public transit, bike lanes, and ride-sharing services offer alternatives. Bridges, once purely functional, have become iconic landmarks. GPS replaces paper maps, and trips that once took hours can now be planned to the minute. The rivers still matter, but more as scenery and recreation than as industrial arteries. Kayaks and riverfront trails have replaced barges and coal piles. Housing in 2026 reflects both progress and new challenges. Renovated lofts and modern apartments stand where worker housing once decayed. Some neighborhoods have flourished, attracting young professionals and families. Others still carry the scars of deindustrialization, struggling with poverty and disinvestment. The city wrestles with rising housing costs, gentrification, and the question of who benefits most from renewal. The closeness of old immigrant communities has given way to a more fragmented, but also more diverse social fabric. Technology weaves through every aspect of modern Pittsburgh life. Smartphones connect residents instantly to the world beyond the hills. Medical research conducted in local hospitals influences global healthcare. Self-driving vehicle testing on city streets hints at a future that would have seemed like science fiction in 1900. Information, not steel, is the city's most valuable export, and innovation has become the new furnace that fuels growth. Social structure has evolved in ways both visible and subtle. In 1900, class lines were stark and often brutal. Wealth and power rested in the hands of a few industrial titans, while workers had little protection. Today, labor laws, unions, and social safety nets offer safeguards, though inequality has not disappeared. The struggles are different but persistent, shaped by education access, race, and economic opportunity. Pittsburgh's story mirrors the broader American effort to balance growth with fairness. The environment tells perhaps the most dramatic story of change. In 1900, pollution was the price of success. In 2026, sustainability is a goal, even if imperfectly realized. Former industrial sites have been cleaned and reclaimed. Trees line streets once coated in soot. Air quality has improved dramatically, and the rivers support wildlife as well as recreation. The city that once symbolized environmental sacrifice now markets itself as a model of urban resilience and reinvention. Globally, Pittsburgh's significance has shifted from manufacturing muscle to intellectual influence. In 1900, the city's steel built bridges, railroads, and skyscrapers across the world. In 2026, its ideas, technologies, and research shape industries that span continents. The export is no longer a physical product alone, but knowledge, innovation, and expertise. Pittsburgh has become a quiet but powerful node in a global network of progress. Despite all this change, threads of continuity remain. The rivers still meet at the city's heart, as they always have. The hills still challenge builders and inspire photographers. The people, though their work and lifestyles have changed, retain a reputation for resilience and practicality. There is a shared memory here, passed down through families, of hard times survived and futures rebuilt. Imagine standing at Point State Park today, where the three rivers converge. Beneath your feet lies the layered history of the city. Somewhere below the grass and stone are traces of docks, warehouses, and the labor of countless hands. Above you rise glass buildings and green spaces, symbols of a city that has learned, sometimes painfully, to adapt. The past is not erased. It is integrated, informing every step forward. Pittsburgh's journey from 1900 to 2026 is not a simple story of decline and rebirth. It is a complex human narrative of ambition, sacrifice, loss, and imagination. It shows how a city can be shaped by a single industry, and then reshaped by the courage to let that identity evolve. It reminds us that progress is rarely smooth, and that the costs of growth are often paid long before the benefits are clear. As the sun sets over modern Pittsburgh, the light reflects not off smoke, but off water and steel bridges that now serve as art as much as infrastructure. The city hums with a quieter confidence than it did in 1900, less explosive, but more sustainable. The furnaces are gone, but the fire remains, transformed into creativity, research, and community. In the end, Pittsburgh's transformation mirrors the broader passage of time experienced by humanity itself. We build, we exploit, we learn, and we adapt. The city stands as proof that places, like people, are capable of change without forgetting where they came from. From the smoke-darkened skies of 1900 to the clearer horizons of 2026, Pittsburgh tells a story not just of a city, but of the enduring human drive to shape the future while carrying the weight of the past.